We are joined by attorney Jeff O'Brien with our weekly 3 and Out. 3 stories, usually sports stories. And during the football season, we talk about the 3 most prominent football teams, college football teams in Minnesota. Your Gophers, Minnesota Gophers, St. Thomas, the Tommies, who are also a D1 team now, and the best D3 team in the state and possibly in the nation. And you know what? Let's start with them. St. John's, the Johnnies. What an opening season victory they had. 49 zip, right, Jeff?
49 zip, and I was looking at the stats, Bob. They played University of Minnesota Morris, which until last week when I was looking at who's playing who, I didn't even know that Morris was a D3 team, but they're part of the UMAC. I thought they might have been all the UM schools were like D2, but they are D3. And the 488 yards of total offense. Joey Gendro, the senior tight end, had 124 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think he had also tied a record for in terms of the yardage in a career. So that's good. They had a new quarterback. They got a guy that transferred from North Dakota, which is an FCS school, so picked up where Aaron Severson left off. But the defense also. They had a fumble recovery that was, and I think it put it at the Cougars' 2-yard line, and then there was a 40-yard interception for a 40-yard touchdown. So they had a pick six too. So this was a pretty well-rounded thumping on the part of the Johnnies.
Yeah, we talked about them last week. This is a terrific program. It hasn't lost any steam. As a matter of fact, it's picked up steam since John Gallardi's last few years. And it's that program is they're going to be in the mix for a national championship every year, and it'd be great to see if they can pull one off this year. All right, now let's go. Let's save the Gophers for last. Let's go to your Tommies.
Yeah, Tommies won, but it was a little bit scary for a while. So they played Northern Michigan, which is a D2 program, and as I understand, I think they're on like a 22-game losing streak.
Ooh!
And go at the end of the third quarter, we were down 7-6, and so I'm like, this isn't good. But Tommies rallied 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and they ended up winning 20-7. So they'll finish their non-conference schedule 2-1, with the one loss being to the number 11 ranked FCS school by a touchdown. So that's not bad. They'll be on a bye next week, and then they'll start their Pioneer League schedule on the 27th against San Diego.
All right, and now we move to the Gophers. And their best player, and he is a terrific player. He had a hand in this loss because he botched a punt, and it's a shame because he's a great kid and a great player.
Well, and I question whether or not they should be having. We're talking about Coy Parrish, obviously, but I'm questioning why they're out there having him be Kelly Leak. You remember Kelly Leak from the Bad News Bears? There's a scene from the original movie where Buttermaker has him try to make all the plays on the field. And that's almost what they were trying to do. He's on special teams. They got him at wide receiver. He's playing defense. It's like the guy is a great defensive back. Let him play there. I don't understand why they had to keep doing that. But the Gophers, they've never done well against Cal. They've played them a few times, at least the times I've seen them. They've always got thumped. And, the Gophers, now they have to basically what? So they have 2 wins going in. They have to pick up 4 or 5 more wins for the season to get their bowl game, and that'll be considered their success. They're different than the Johnnies and the Tommies. The Johnnies and the Tommies are playing for.
They have to win
the conference championship.
Hey, and your Tommies can actually go to a playoff.
They can.
Now.
They're playoff eligible this year.
Okay.
So the Johnnies and Tommies can play for conference or playing for conference championships and moving into the playoffs. The Gophers, they aren't going to contend with the likes of Michigan and Ohio State. They just want to. They want to be above 500, get a bowl game.
And which, you know what, and that is sort of what the bar is for this program, and it's not a high bar at all. And I'm not. I don't know PJ Fleck on a personal level. He sometimes gets the whole rah-rah thing. The whole thing of him running out and leading the team and diving into his players' arms in the locker room, it's a bit much. So there was no dive this past weekend.
Well, there was a dive. It just wasn't him. It was his team on the field.
Yeah, they took a dive. And, they got beat. And so everyone who's getting all worked up about them being so terrific after their first 2 Patsy wins, this team is it's a mediocre team.
they beat Buffalo by less than what they should have, and then this 66-0 win was against an FCS school. That's like playing St. Thomas at this point. That's not a good barometer of how good a team is.
This is a much better barometer. And Cal is not like a world beater by any means.
No, but interesting little trivia fact here. Actually, this is about Cal. I'm talking with my my buddies John Beasley this weekend because he's a Cal grad, former Viking. And I don't know if I've mentioned this on the show before. The Gophers quarterback, Drake Lindsay, or Josh Lindsay, but he is the grandson of Jim Lindsay, the former Viking.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
that's good trivia.
We're going back and forth because I was going back and forth with Beasley, and I'm like, hey, was it you that caught the 7th touchdown pass from Cap, or was it because Cap's a Cal grad too? Was it Lindsay? And he said, no, it was Lindsay because Joe used to call him 7 was his nickname because he caught his 7th touchdown pass. So a lot of, there's Ed White, John Beasley, and Joe Cap that all came out of Cal that ended up playing for the Vikings. So that's, it's his, and you've had Aaron Rodgers. And There's been a lot of players that have come out of that program that have done very, very well. So they're no slouch. It would have been nice.
Yeah, they have good players that come out, but they're not a team that, oh my God, it's Cal. They're going to win a national title. That's not that type of team by any stretch.
They're not. But still, I thought I was looking forward to a good game, Bob, and I thought it was going to be closer than it was, and it was disappointing that it was so one-sided.
Yeah. All right. Speaking about one-sided. Give me your quick thoughts on the Vikings. I'm just curious what you thought.
Concerned, that you keep seeing, they've already got, we're into week 2 and you got a quarterback. I want to call him a rookie because he's not a rookie, his second year, but he's his first year starting and he's playing behind a patchwork offensive line at this point. That's concerning. It doesn't help that you've got, Hawkinson dropping balls. It was a little particularly sensitive to me because I've got him. I started him on my fantasy team. So, but I guess we're just going to have to see. He's a young quarterback. We kind of, I think everybody kind of is so used to. Remember, go back to the days when, when Dante Culpepper became the starter in his second year, and they ended up going to the NFC Championship, right? Well, he had Chris Carter and Randy Moss too, and Jake Reed.
What? That one doesn't hold water. He's got Justin Jefferson. He's got 2 great running backs, and you know what? I put on the coach. If he wasn't ready, he should not have. Maybe he should have made a deal for another quarterback. And the other thing about, I know Darisaw is out. He wasn't giving any help in some of those plays. I mean, you got to put a tight end there. I know you want to have your 3 wideouts or however you're trying to run your offense because you think you can run it at will. You can't. You got to get help on that side because there was pressure coming from that. Off where the left tackle is at school, and then it got even worse when he went to the third string tackle.
Yeah, well, he lost his. He was on a backup center and the 3rd string tackle. That wasn't good. I saw some chatter online. Someone said, "Should we start Wentz next week?" It's like, you're in with this.
No, you got to keep going.
Once you start the young guy, you're all in with him.
But
until he gets hurt, that's it.
And I think that maybe it'll be humbling for KOC because it's not. Maybe he's living a little too much on that coach of the year. It doesn't just happen. You got to really get he should have had this kid prepared knowing there's no left tackle and that when the center went out, that didn't help at all. He almost threw it over his head on one play, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and we'll leave it at that. Jeff O'Brien, thank you so much with our weekly 3 and Out. Take a quick break. The BS Show will be right back.